Coming, so my loss as well as yours. This is an important topic, one that doesn't get as much attention as I think it warrants in my own view, so I commend the committee for focusing on this topic. I have to note as well, these represent my personal views and not those of the U.S. government, Department of Defense. I'll give you the bottom line up front. The United States and China are in a geostrategic and economic competition in which development of the ocean economy, also referred to as a maritime or blue economy, will play a critically important and particularly from a maritime, commercial, and naval technology point of view, important role. This competition will determine the future of the global maritime supply chain. China has a comprehensive long-term strategy, vision, policies, and plans to develop the ocean economy, both at home and abroad. The United States does not. The OECD in 2016 put out an important report on the ocean economy in 2030, noting that the ocean economy makes a significant contribution to the overall economy, saying that in 2010, the ocean economy contributed $1.5 trillion, and by 2030, estimating that $3 trillion will be value-added growth. This important strategic sector is particularly important in an age of global trade, investment, and innovation, maritime industry expansion, demographic shifts towards coastal zones, climate change, and an emerging or growing naval contest between the United States and China. How and where the ocean economy develops will determine the future of the global maritime industry, affecting key aspects such as infrastructure and transportation, where the source and centers of maritime innovation will emerge, and which countries will dominate in determining maritime law, policy, processes, and as mentioned earlier, technical standards, hardware, software, environmental measures, and others, both on land and at sea. Two important global trends that I'd like to focus on here that are fueling development of the ocean economy globally and that are sure to impact the global maritime supply chain are first, the expanding numbers and types of special economic zones, or SEZs, that include specialized maritime industrial themed development zones, and then secondly, a related concept of developing maritime clusters or innovation ecosystems that are designed to spur maritime industrial and also blue economic growth, technological innovation, and doing so in a more sustainable way. China is at the forefront of both of these global trends. The UN Conference on Trade and Development, its annual report on world investment, noted, had a special section on special economic zones because they're, as UNCTAD put it, explosive growth in the use of special economic zones around the world. China alone accounts for over 2,500 of all the world's SEZs, nearly half of the worldwide total, and then more than half of those that are in developing countries. China has also pioneered a new form of special economic zone that is focused on enhancing maritime, both commercial and naval, capabilities by establishing a specialized and pilot blue economy development zone. The first being in Qingdao, China, but also now establishing these along China's long coastline. Within the Qingdao Blue Economic Development Zone, they also have what they call Blue Silicon Valley, the idea being clearly to advance innovation in the marine and maritime sector. In addition, China's Blue Economy Development Zones are strategically located with military and defense industrial interests in mind. As you've noted, become commonly understood, China's long-term economic and technological development model remains based on dual use combined and what they call now military-civil fusion of technology development and innovation that is intended for both commercial and defense purposes. This strategic approach applies to the maritime sector as well and will affect how and the degree to which U.S. and Chinese maritime stakeholders can engage, whether in China or overseas, and as part of a global maritime supply chain. Under the Maritime Silk Road Initiative, China has expanded its efforts to promote overseas SEZs, including overseas blue economy zones and other blue cooperative programs. As noted in the previous panel and the recent New York Times article, for instance, China has leased an entire province in the Solomon Islands for development of a special economic zone, though it's not clear what industrial or military purposes it plans to use it for. But the vehicle is the special economic zone, which is an important part of China's own development and part of the allure or attraction of Chinese foreign investment overseas. In 2017, Beijing announced a new vision for maritime cooperation, which built upon the 2015 Belt and Action Road Plan. I commend both of these documents to you, to the committee, to understand. They're both in English, easy to understand. Note that the maritime vision in particular has a whole litany of development projects, including what it calls blue passages, blue economic corridors, blue partnerships, blue carbon programs, all, of course, with maritime themes, in addition to overseas blue economic zones, in cooperation, as their plan is, with neighboring regional and international partners that stretch across almost all of the globe, all of the Indo-Pacific, and stretching into the Mediterranean, the Arctic, and importantly as well, into the deep ocean. Thank you.